Parents are crying at school gates. The economy is gasping for air. And for the first time, the golden boy of the mountain and the firebrand of the lake are speaking the same language. On January 14, 2026, Citizen TV's JK Live became a crime scene for the UDA manifesto. Ndindi Nyoro and Babu Owino didn't just debate, they dismantled it, from the Singapore myth to the 150,000 Kenyan shillings admission bribes. This might just be the 2027 Joshua ticket. Let's break down the bombshells.
E-housing, we must do it. Imagine Singapore was like Kenya 60 years ago. Today in Singapore, 95% of people are homeowners. They are in the first world. In Kenya, it is the opposite. 7 million people are living in slums. We are in the third world. We are going to change this country. Believe you me. Hii inchi tutaibadilisha. We have what it takes as a nation. There is no reason why we cannot catch up with Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea. There is no reason we can catch up with them if we just make the right decisions. And I'm going to go out of my way to make sure we make those decisions.
This way. In economics, just to bring it in terms of real life, if, for example, you are a banana farmer, you compare how well you want to do banana farming with another banana farmer. You can't compare your yield using, let's say, oranges or pears. What am I trying to say? Every time you want to champion a cause like any other country economically, there are things that you look for. And that's why I believe the whole thing is like the one we sold about this versus the other. And because the time is nearing, creativity now have to jump in with another of such. And this is the reason I gave the example of bananas and the rest. Economically speaking, when you want to compare an economy and you want to do like that economy, you look at the homogeneity of those economies. You look at, are these things even the same in many dynamics? The GDP per capita of that country is around, and I don't want to even get into that political sloganeering, so you allow me to use that reference. It's around 90,000 US dollars.
GDP?
No, GDP per capita, per person. Ours is around 3,000, but that's not even the point. The point is that how the economies are fashioned. The economy of Singapore is fashioned very differently from how the economy of Kenya is fashioned. Number one, in terms of the involvement of the state in terms of the economy. If, for example, you check at SGX, the Singaporean stock market, you take the top 10 companies, you realize that Temasek, one of the entity of government that owns stakes in other companies, they are very dominant in terms of ownership. Because Singapore in its start, as much as it was promoting private side of the economy, the government was also very heavy in terms of state capitalism. So the economy actually that is very close to what Kenya should be, if we actually mean to emulate a country, it is actually South Korea. Because if you look at the size of that country you mentioned vis-a-vis Kenya, totally off. Even a county in Kenya is bigger in terms of geographical size, population-wise, and the same. If you compare the same with a country, for example, South Korea, more or less, our ideals economically bled more with South Korea. Our population is in the 50 millions. South Korea is in the 50 millions. Our country, our aspiration is to promote private sector-driven capitalism. And that is why we keep on divesting from government stakes. If you look at South Korea, that is what it advanced, and especially from the rule of General Park, where the economy was so involved in growing private enterprise that they had to create a cadre of companies called chaebols. You see, for example, my phone, here Samsung, LG, Hyundai. Those are brands from South Korea.
Yeah.
But they were created by a deliberate government policy. Why? Because they wanted these companies, which would become behemoths, to be the pinnacle of the supply chain of supporting SMEs in South Korea, etc.
President Ruto has been telling Kenyans, we are the next Singapore. But Ndindi Nyoro, the former president's own budget chair, just called time out. Nyoro's logic, brutal. In economics, if you are a banana farmer, you can't compare yourself to an orange farmer using pears.
Singapore.
Yes.
First of all, if I just talk at face value and compare Singapore and Kenya, Jeff, the size of Singapore is 736 square kilometer.
Is that central province? Is that smaller than?
The size of Nairobi is 696 square kilometers.
Wow.
Therefore, Singapore and Nairobi are almost congruent in size. The size of Kenya is 580,000 square kilometers. It means that Kenya is 800 times bigger than Singapore. Then the population of Kenya is 58 million in number, while the population of Singapore is 6.1 million in number. The GDP right now of Singapore is close to around 4.6% today. And the GDP of Kenya is approximately around between that 4 and 5%. Therefore, it means that how else will the 58 million Kenyans fit in Singapore, which is a smaller country in terms of size?
Singapore is a tiny city-state of 6 million people with a $90,000 GDP per capita. Kenya, 58 million people, just $3,000 per capita. Pause, let it sink. Babu Owino added fuel to the fire. How will 58 million Kenyans fit into a model the size of Nairobi? They both agreed. Chasing the Singapore dream is chasing a ghost. The real solution? The South Korean industrialization model. Aggressive, scalable, and built for a country our size.
Kwa Kiharu masomo bora ya 2026 ambayo inakava shule zetu zote za day secondary schools, which is covering grade 10 and form 3 and form 4. The school fees in Kiharu in the year 2026 in our day secondary schools per term, it will be 500 shillings.
Meanwhile, Ndindi Nyoro is busy exposing the national shame. He launched Kiharu Masomo Bora 2026, where day high school fees are capped at 500 Kenyan shillings. Lunch included, chapati Fridays, science labs, all for 500 bob. Currently, parents are being asked for commitment fees of up to 150,000 shillings at national schools. Nyoro said it bluntly. There is no parliament. There is no opposition. No one speaks for the common man. When a former budget chair says schools are underfunded, you know the house is on fire.
It means President Kibaki's 3 years, if you times it by 2, is 72%. You'll tell me what next says about 72%, what grade it is. 21% of President Uhuru is around 42%. If you times by 2. If you times 14.9% by 2, it is apparently 29%. You'll tell me what grade that is in terms of...
That's an F.
Is that what?
It's an F.
Is that what, Jeff? Please.
I said it's an F.
I need to go well.
If I can defend my brother,
Yes.
they lack a vision. That is as simple as that. They are on a mission, but they lack a vision. A mission to destroy the lives of those who elected them. But we have a vision to transform this nation into a better place. Jeff, me and you, we individuals, life is temporal. Tomorrow we will not be here.
Yeah.
The greatest legacy that I want to leave behind is a legacy that I will be told that you took my child to school. That a child A person one day in life will tell me, Babu, because of you, I'm a doctor. Because of you, I'm a teacher. Because of you, I'm a business person. That is the legacy that I want to leave. Jeff, let me tell you one thing as a leader. That a mango does not eat a mango fruit. A guava does not eat itself. The mango fruit is eaten by the eater. But the MPs who are criticizing development, they are mangoes who are eating themselves. For us, we want to offer. We want to offer to be eaten. We want to offer to be used, even misused by our constituents, as long as we deliver them to the city of victory.
The most chilling moment for State House? The Joshua generation. Babu Owino declared, with the passing of the Moses of opposition, the youth must lead. Nyoro and Babu Owino didn't look like rivals. They looked like partners. They attacked the poor economy. Nyoro admitted the private sector is dying because the government is sucking all the money out of banks. Pre-election pact? Possibly. Both young, both brilliant, both grounded in the people. If the mountain and the lake unite under those two, the 2027 math changes instantly. Here's the bottom line. When a former budget chair starts quoting South Korea and trashing your Singapore dream, there is a problem. And Ndindi Nyoro is moving away from the hustler script. Babu Owino is ready to lead the charge. Who would you vote for in 2027? Is the Joshua generation finally here? Or is this just another political game? Hit that subscribe button for more deep dive analysis. We're watching the ground so you don't have to. I'll see you in the next one.